While the World's Fair is widely celebrated today, that wasn't the case in the early 1970s. As KREM 2's Tim Pham tells us, the footprint of the Asian community downtown was erased.
In the first half of the 20th century, this parking lot along Spokane Falls Boulevard used to be the heart of Spokane's Asian communities. In the years leading up to Expo 74, many of the remaining businesses were taken down to make way for the World's Fair.
I always refer to Expo as one of the two big moments in Spokane's kind of landscape history. The first being the fire in 1889, which burns down the entire downtown core, and the second being the fair.
Two pivotal moments in the city's history. One caused utter destruction. The Great Fire in 1889 burned more than 30 blocks. The other wasn't by disaster. It was by choice to change the landscape for the World's Fair.
That is a huge cost. That living reminder, a physical reminder of a history of a community that is still thriving in Spokane. These communities are still around and they want that story told.
Especially the story of Trent Alley.
That area had started to flourish in the 1920s with Japanese and Chinese businesses.
This block here is the Davenport Grand. This is Auntie's Bookstore and parking lot, right?
Stephen Bingo spent months researching and gathering artifacts to tell the often untold history of Asian Americans in Spokane and how Expo 74 changed the community. We pulled the 1950 fire insurance map from the MAC archives. It shows dozens of Asian-owned businesses in and around Trent Alley. Here's that same map in the years before Expo, nearly all of them gone.
A lot of the artifacts that would help us understand or even see that there was an Asian presence downtown, those were destroyed.
There's no remnants of those. They were all torn down and turned into parking lots.
It's why Margaret Albaugh with Asians for Collective Liberation in Spokane is working to help preserve and tell the history of Asian Americans. By the early 70s, many businesses closed or became run down. Trent Alley became known as Skid Row, a place some called the slums, with crime and homelessness taking over.
It was not in urban developers' minds a space to preserve and protect.
Expo 74 was seen as a way to reform the area. While many Asian businesses closed prior to the 70s, for generations of Asians, seeing family businesses turned into parking lots was hard to see.
So there was, I think, a bit of a sense of loss, kind of like seeing your childhood community knocked down for, even if it's something as beautiful as a park, you still feel that sense of loss that those buildings are no longer there.
There's a sense of loss for some and progress for others. King Cole, known as the father of the fair, called the now demolished riverfront railroad tracks the Chinese Wall. He said this as a metaphorical wall to social progress.
I think for me, understanding the presence of Asian communities specifically and how they played a huge role in downtown Spokane, the economics of Spokane, the development of the downtown area.
I'm very plugged in with the Asian American community here in the Inland Northwest. Most tell me they appreciate what the fair did for this part of town. They just want to make sure that the stories of those in the footprint of the fair are not forgotten. Reporting in Spokane, I'm Tim Pham, KREM 2 News.
Well, the Expo celebrations continue. In addition to the closing ceremonies on the 4th of July, you can visit the Echoes of Expo. It's an audio storytelling experience at Riverfront Park. Plus the exhibit that Tim mentioned, It Happened Here. Expo 74, 50 years after, is on display at the Northwest Museum of Arts and Culture, and that will be on display through January.